How official are we getting with this?
I'm not sure how official, but we're kicked off. Welcome, everyone, to the VRA. As always, I'm your host, Professor Casey, and I'd usually introduce Professor Nix, but we have Professor Heiss with us today.
Yes, hello.
And we're playing Derail Rally for a change, not Railroader. Shocker.
It's exciting. We can talk about how to operate trains and not an entire railroad, which is fun.
Yeah, and actually get to run a steam engine in a video game as a steam engine. So
yes.
Yeah, we're in Derail Valley. We're running steam tonight, and we're gonna be talking about working as a crew, more particularly on a steam engine, but also kind of in general. You're joining us as we're kicking together our first train of the night, and we haven't blown up yet.
Knock on wood. That's Casey's job to not do to start with. If the locomotive blows up, it's not my fault.
Yes, no, I am fireman tonight, which is it's fun. This is a good game to fire in and not have to worry about running. It's very unique.
38, when you've got air, you can pull out to the main.
Pull out to the main, here we go. The whistle of these things still needs a little love, but anyway, they're working on it.
Trying to
You want me to take this next cut, Rudy?
What was that, Matt?
Would you like me to take this next cut?
Yeah, if you want to.
Alright, I'm standing out at your switch.
Okay. I think I got all of E-Yard already lined up for you.
Yep, you do. Just standing out on the, what is that? GD yard switch.
I'm gonna
you guys
try and be
pull
a
over.
good noodle and not make any smoke.
How many you hold on to there, Rudy?
We got 6 cars.
6, thank you.
So we have like almost a full 5-man crew tonight.
Pretty much, yeah. That's actually kind of cool.
A conductor, a brakeman, some train masters hiding in the woods here in the call.
We could put Scott on the tender. He doesn't have a doghouse to sit in, but he could like stand on the manhole and pretend to be a front brake.
Scott, do you want to come join and be our brakeman? No pressure.
There's a lot of things that have to happen for that to happen.
Valid. So
One of which being we buy him a new graphics card.
This is true.
Let me see if I can get mine to work.
Correction, Matt, roll on the 7 cars.
7.
Counting is hard with the one hand involved.
Where are you, Matt?
I'm sitting on the switch waiting for Mark to roll over it.
I don't see you on the switch.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Okay, that's fine.
7 more.
7 more.
Four to go.
4 to go.
2.
2.
1.
1.
Half.
Half.
Truck.
Truck.
Far enough.
Far enough.
These cars are much smaller than I'm used to. Alright, when you get your air shove, good for 20.
Shoving back for 20. Oh, come on, you. Sorry, Casey. I owe you the first beer.
And you know what? I'm looking at my fire, and it's down to the grates right now, too.
That's fine. A little cold air never hurt a firebox before.
No, never.
I don't know if you guys do that, but there was a time when I had a fun-loving coworker at the museum who was not necessarily the most ideal running mate. But anyway, we would do pops for slips. I don't know if you guys do that, but
No, we don't.
when you're on the engine crew.
It's not really a thing out here, though. I kind of want to make that a thing now. That sounds enjoyable.
It's a fun thing if you get assigned with the same person for a while. If the engineer slips, he owes the fireman a drink. If the fireman pops the safety, he owes the engineer a drink. And so you end up canceling out, or maybe not.
That I like that.
Good for 20.
Good for 20.
No, and
That
that's
is conductor speak for hurry the F up.
go faster. Yes. That's conductor speak for faster, and then when you start getting really, really fast car counts, it's like, oh god, please stop now.
I've never like managed my own like having someone give me car counts in this game yet. Really, with this many cars, this is gonna get interesting. Here's
It is
hoping
already
we-
interesting because it is hard to see.
Oh, you know, fine.
Let's call that 6.
6. You're supposed to give me a 10.
That's fine.
Okay, let's take a really nice meaty
I'm gonna
set.
do what Casey does and give you like the world's worst car count in
I do
3
not
more.
give you the world's worst car counts.
You say
3
long
more.
15 and then 3.
Long 15 and 3.
That's is that a
2
G&W thing that I
2
picked up
more.
from someone?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
One car.
1.
Long 6 inch.
Half.
Half.
Truck.
Okay. Truck. This might actually work out.
Now give me a little bump. Come on.
A little bump.
Beautiful. Good hit.
Bang. Good hitch.
Going in.
Set and center. You're supposed to ask to go in, you butthole.
No, I'm telling you I'm going in.
Oh, okay, great. Well, if I run you over, it's your fault.
Details. So that's
See,
going back to the slipping
at the railroad
thing.
that I work at, our rulebook says they're automatically supposed to immediately provide protection.
Yeah,
All
well,
we
what
have
if I
to do
still
is
have the
work
steam
around here
chest
that we have clean
charged?
equipment.
What if I had the steam chest charged? You would be dead.
Sounds like a personal problem. That's why we use diesels.
Woo! We're talking about well, I guess in modern day it's 3-step. You can't really do 3-step because there's no gen field on a steam engine, but before any crew member can go in between, you have to verify with the engineer that nothing's going to move. And, yeah, Buppy just went in because Buppy wants to die, but thankfully he's just a pretty, ooh, there's my drink. All right, we're even now. Buppy's just a cute anime waifu, so he can't die, I don't think, at least in this game. So
You can have 3-step though, because it's reverser, close and pin your throttle, and kick open your cylinder cocks, and independent. It's 4-step.
I guess that's true.
All right, when you get your air up there, I'll do a quick continuity test on you, and then someone else will take over from there.
It looks like we got the air back up here.
All right, continuity.
Yep. My brake
Fantastic.
pipe dove for the floor there.
Handbrake should be off. You should be ready to pull when your next conductor tells you to.
Okay, waiting on next conductor.
I'm at the main switch here. You can pull.
All right, pull past the main switch.
Pull the world.
We're going over to track 5 next.
And there's another one. Oh no, that's you. That
That's the
sounds
cylinder
eerily like the
cocks.
safety pop.
It does. Steam hissy sounds.
So going back to the whole slipping apology thing, I don't know if you guys do this, but every time like I slip, like if I'm running and I slip, like I always like glance in the fire as the fireman's looking and instantly apologize. I'm like,
Yep,
sorry, I just fucked you
100%.
up, man.
Yep, yeah. Hey, look, I shit on your Christmas by slipping. Don't be mad, please. Yeah. Very much
Like,
so. It's
oh.
usually not too bad, but
No.
goodness, we've had some times when you get the slips going and the poor fireman is just about ready to beat you with the scoop, so.
Oh, for every time for me, it's always like right as we're coming up the hill. There's this one spot right at the
10
assault
cars.
to the grade
And
where you're most likely to slip, because you go across a crossing and then hit the bottom of the hill. And in the winter
Right.
and cold, like that crossing is so slick.
Is that 5?
yes,
Okay, dumping it.
3.
3. Air's plugged. 2.
1 more.
Half.
Truck.
Truck.
Almost like you planned it. Perfect stop.
Damn, that is
Love
perfect.
that.
Look at that.
You said 5, and I was like, okay, dump it. Good to shove. Am I gonna get a car count on the shove, or are we just gonna...
About 10.
About 10, okay.
Probably a long 10, but it's a little foggy.
Oh,
so-
a long 10. All right.
Yeah.
The good old long 5.
That's
I love these long and short car counts.
Well,
My car
so-
counts are 30 feet long, so welcome to the narrow gauge.
We just did a
So
freight
the-
photo charter where our car count changed based on if we were like next to the passenger train that was chasing us or not. So it was like either 40-foot cars or 65-foot cars, and that's a huge difference for only being
5
20
more.
feet.
5 more. Take a nice meaty set there.
Man, Mark's
Cardinal
got a
sin
heck
of
of a beard
talking
on
while
this
they're doing
screen.
the radio calls.
Makes
You
life
should
more interesting.
Long 3.
Long 3.
We're running into some potentially explosive things here, so we're trying to...
Ooh, Splody Boys, my favorite.
Rudy, you were giving like 90-foot car counts.
Don't forget, that's what I usually work with.
I know. That's what I normally work with too. I'm trying to adjust for what we're working with.
Everything I work with is 85 feet, so
I know.
you want
Fine.
to get car counts instead? Go for it.
No, I'll give Mark counts and butts.
I mean, I'll
How
give
many-
car counts.
How
not
many
even
SD
being
cards
a
is
game.
that?
About 283 SD cards.
Let's
Am I gonna get
At least the we got 2 more, by the way. At least
2
the
more,
car counts,
I
translate
was
to-
like, am I gonna get a 2 or a 1.5 or something, or am I just gonna
No, you
bump
get
into this?
148 SD cards.
Great. Love that. Are these a micro SD or normal size SD cards?
Normal size SD.
one
Normal
more.
size, okay. Which, are they sideways or you know,
Long ways.
long ways? Okay.
Truck
Truck.
and bonk.
Bonk. Hey, I heard my whistle that time.
Good luck again. We bounced off.
Bounced. Okay.
Back about 2 feet.
2 foot.
I'll stand here in this incredibly unsafe looking position.
Fine.
And good bonk.
Good bonk. Yeah, for anyone who's hearing the car count discussion and everything, the brakeman or the conductor, whoever's giving the signals, is supposed to give at least half, if not more, of what the next car count should be. So if he says you're good back for 10, the engineer should have stopped if he doesn't hear a 5. So usually you'd get a 10 and then a 6 and then a 4 and then a, etc. So that you're walking back. But we're also, talking about all the things. So
We'll hit a continuity test on the back end here.
quick test. Yep.
Got it?
Yep.
Okay. Then I think you are good to pull
Alright.
for wherever we're headed.
We are gluten-free bound, Goods Factory.
Gluten-free. Oh, good. We are going to test my theory. Okay. Well, we'll see if the locomotive ES&D's on my end, or everyone's
Or my
end,
end.
or your end. If we run into the tank car full of explosives, Oh, come on, you. Don't you be cheeky. Alright, I'm giving it sand, I'm leaving it in the corner, and I've got it wide open. Pray.
And
That's what that sound is. Got it.
I've got a rip roaring fire. We got the pressure coming up. Well, let's see if I can control it. Because that's the ultimate skill, is if you can control it. In real life, even more so, I think, in a video game, since it's gamified. But
Right.
it's a fun balance to try and be like, alright, I want to keep it like 5 pounds below the pop and a 3/4 glass the entire time. And not have that change. And
Right.
it's great when you start to work with someone a lot, and I think this is probably even more true at the museum than versus what I do, where you have such a challenging grade. But like, you
Right.
can really hone in with someone, and like, kind of intrinsically know what they're going to do.
Yes. Yeah, it's very much the case, and it's very specific per engineer. And sorry, you put the rip roarer in there, and then I did you the favor of hooking it up. I can waste steam if you want.
We'll go for it. We've got a bit of a train, and the grade is going to help me.
It's true.
I've got my gun
Trying to
tuned
hit
in.
track speed here, so once I hit track speed, I'm gonna back it off until we hit the grade. So yeah, But you definitely have to know your engineer who you're firing for. The notorious running joke at the museum is that Brett's the hardest to fire for. Whether that's true or not, I mean, I never have an issue with it, but a lot of other people make noises about it, so it's always funny. But yeah, the engineer basically has a singular lever to ruin the fireman's day, and it's called well, I guess in this case it's called the scroll reverse. But normally we'd have it on an American steam engine. You'd typically have a Johnson bar, and if you click that Johnson bar down further into the corner, that just makes the fireman's day hell very quick.
Stairs in New York Central.
Yes, they did have screw reverse on some stuff. Doesn't 3001 have screw reverse?
Stand by. I have a
It
book
does,
tab
yes.
somewhere. Yeah. Oh, let's go. Speed. Yeah.
If you're not switching, screw reverse is honestly a lot better, but if you're switching, to hell with that noise.
I saw this great photo of a 2716 in the Southern era where they put a mini Air Johnson bar on it, so that way if they like doing switching, cause you're doing excursions, so that way they can just like flip a lever and switch over to using the Johnson bar, and the screw spins itself.
That's cool.
To make quick moves from like forward to neutral or forward to reverse.
Alright, we're hitting the grade, and I'm just dropping the reverse forward, so pray for your fire.
I will, and that's one of the things I like doing, helping firemen if they come in too hot at the end of the day, is I will power brake in and drag it, and if we got to do switching and move the train somewhere else, I will leave it in the corner as much as possible to eat up their pressure.
Just burn it down. As Leighton would ask for occasionally, he'll just go, choose violence. Okay. Just set up the air and start pulling against it uphill. That's fine.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like you start to work together, or you're like, hey, I got a little overzealous on that coming up to the hill. Can you help me out a little bit? And it's like, all right, glance over at your gauge in the water, and you just click the bar down a little bit.
Just FYI, Casey, I am Railroads Onlining it.
I am trying to keep up.
That was what I told Goose the one time when he was learning to fire the 20. It was during Polar, and he started to get a little behind, the pressure started to come down and down, and so as we keep going around, hit the hill the next time, and the bar would click down further and further, and I finally got to the point that I had it wide open in the corner, because we got down to about 120 PSI, and I'm like, I'm Railroads Onlining it over here! Figure something out, bud!
There we go.
Thankfully, the grade's lessened through here a little bit, so I'm dialing it back, hopefully get you some more steam.
That helped my fire temp a bunch, so that should help the steam pressure come back. It's a hard thing to balance. I don't know about you, but my first trip firing is always the worst trip of the day.
Oh,
It's
yes.
Like, the arch hasn't really heated up yet. The tubes, the superheaters aren't doing their thing. Though I will argue that I don't think our superheated engines are ever really superheating, especially 3025.
Take a temp gun right after you stop and shoot the branch pipes. That'll tell you that like instantaneously. If they're not much above 400, ain't no way you're superheating.
Yeah, one trick I have always was told is in like early summer, early fall. Kick your cylinder cocks open, and if you hear stuff but you don't see anything, then you know you're superheating.
That's a good trick.
I've never seen our engine superheat. Maybe 97. I've never tried that one. But the moral of the story is my first trip is always the worst because the conditions just aren't there. The engine just came out of the house. I've had it's been 2 hours since you woke up the engine. It takes an hour to really get everything set up the way you want it to.
Yeah, first trip is always the worst for everyone, and we tend to fire, and when I've been training guys, I've been trying to advocate for at least 3 trips, in a row, and then we'll get the next guy up, which sometimes doesn't work out, unfortunately, with the good problem that we do have of so many people wanting to learn. Mm-hmm. But I've been trying to advocate, rather than trying to push as many people through the cab as possible, let's make sure we get a couple trips in, because every single time you'll get in, and whether or not it's the first trip of the day or you just came in after somebody else, you don't know where they've been in the fire. You don't know what that fire is doing, and you have to figure it out, and you have to suss out what the engine needs, and maybe you go a little too overboard, maybe you don't do enough. It's quite the thing, basically, on that first trip. And then the second trip, usually, for our newer firemen, they'll overcorrect in the other direction, whichever that is. And then by the third trip, they can actually feel good about something.
Yeah.
So very much the trip.
The first trip you give it to someone on the handoff, like that's not their fire. Like you're getting the leftovers of the guy before you.
Yep.
So,
they don't know where you've been.
Yeah. So like the fire's not in the shape you want to keep it in. You don't know what it's doing, and it could really help you through most of that first trip, or it could really hurt you through most of that first trip. So like, you don't know. It's not really your fire until an hour later, a half hour later.
Pretty much, yeah. Depending on how hard you're working. Yeah.
That's one of the important things about training is, it's time on the scoop, it's time on the throttle to make it your own after getting a handoff.
Absolutely. It's definitely one of those things that comes with time, because, you can look at a fire and while you're sitting in station, you get a little blower or something, you can look and see what's going on, but you don't know if that coal that looks pretty decent is actually halfway burnt out, because it looks good on top, but it's actually burnt out most of the way on bottom. And that was the last place the previous fireman had hit. So you trust it, and then it evaporates to nothing the second the engineer opens the throttle, and then you're behind. So knowing where you've been is definitely an important thing, so that makes any kind of handoff challenging.
And that's we'll do this when we switch at the end of this run, but it's like when if I know I'm going to be handing it off to someone, that's where I'm giving it to a student, or I'm giving it, or giving it to the engineer, whatever. It's like, hey, where do you want it when we get into the station? And I'll try and leave it where they want to be left off, with pressure and water, so that way they can make the fire their own, and not have to worry about like, oh god, we're on the pops, oh god, our glass is full.
Yep, the joy. All right, lined left.
I am finally in.
Left.
Hooray!
And my lantern is falling into the fire.
It does that. There's not a very good place to put it on the S282.
No, I need that to see the cage. So that way, I can keep the gun there. This is So
this
we
whole
said, like,
time
the first half hour is terrible, the first trip is terrible. I finally got the engine dialed in where I want it.
Yeah, it's very funny. I thought that we were just running in the dark and that you were choosing violence. But no, I've just learned that the lighting does not replicate.
Oh, yeah, no, lighting does not sync.
Yep, because I'm like, wow, this is a really dark cab. Doesn't bother me, but if we blow up, that's Casey's problem.
Well, no, it's helpful for you because you're running at night. Now you don't have the light in your eyes.
It's true. That does help.
It works out, and there goes my water because we hit the top of the grid.
Oh, it's fine.
We got a quarter glass, it's alright.
Yeah, it doesn't scare me. It's always funny getting people to come in to guest fire at the museum, either from Durango and Silverton, Cumbres and Toltec, or whatever you've had it historically. Because every time they tip over, they all poop their pants, basically, because you go from all the way out the top of the glass to just barely in the bottom or out the bottom slightly. And that's every lap, because it's a 7.5% grade difference, so you can't change those physics.
You warned me about this, but I know when I finally come to visit and see it, I will still poop myself.
Yep, it's not a feeling you like to have as a fireman.
No. See, I think our guys tend to go the other way, especially new ones where they're a little bit too conscious and they run water too high. Instead of running running on the lower side.
Sure.
So it's interesting hearing about the balance of like. I
We have about
where
a half-inch window, about, is what you can carry. If you carry it too high, it'll carry over on the uphill. If you carry it too low, it gets a little scary on the downhill. So it's honest to God about a half-inch window of comfort and not much more.
You guys really got to keep it center of the glass then.
Yeah,
like,
if we
on
ever
the
got to
flat and
stop
level.
on the flat, yeah. Flat and level track is the crossing, and we're always moving through it, so you're always sloshing, so you tend to learn where you need to look on certain grades at certain dedicated locations, and it's one of the fun things to learn about our stupid little railroad.
See, I like those kinds of challenges. I've been doing this enough where like the everyday trip is, I'm not gonna say boring because it's never really boring, but new challenges, new experiences are fun, and trying to do little things like, oh well, where can I keep my water? Can I keep like a perfectly like half glass an entire trip?
Right.
Like how little coal can I put in?
Those are the fun games that you have to play to keep it interesting. Because any railroad, once you learn it, any railroad will get to be a smidge on the boring side, or at least the very comfortable side. So to stay engaged, like those little tricks are fun.
Yeah.
All right, shutting her down.
We got that downhill coming up, right?
We do.
Hill? Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So I wanna work
It's
that
not for
water.
another half kilometer maybe, but
Yeah.
there's a 70.
So, you know, my heart says like, oh, like if I carry a half a glass, I'll be fine for that. But my brain goes, it's Derail Valley. If I need to carry it at least 3/4.
The slosh is doubled in Derail Valley.
What did you figure? It's actually doubled.
It's actually doubled. I've talked with and not for the reasons that I assumed, but it is almost doubled. I talked with Zybok about it, and we both had a good laugh about us both making the same error in our simulations, but in different ways. So, because I did the same thing for a certain other project. So.
That weird guy Mark is working on.
Oh yeah, sorry, my friend Mark did that, not me. Yeah.
There we go.
All right, coasting through here. We got another couple switches to run through, so after the next switch, we'll go downgrade.
Yeah, after a kickflip corner.
Yeah, kickflip corner, my favorite.
Alright, so for our conductor and brakeman, in the VC text I put what cut is going to what track in the same order as it has been this entire time.
Roger.
Roger.
And I've been instinctively doing this, and I just now realized it, that I'm glancing out of the window and looking ahead and paying attention on curves that are on my side.
It's the thing you do. It's ingrained in the brain.
It really is. Of just like up curve, yeah, no, clear. And that's the thing we do at my railroad a lot. Is as we call crossings. I was always taught to call curves that are on my side. I'll just look out and be like, hey, clear through the curve.
No harm in it. It's a good practice to have.
And switch targets if they're on my side. Fireman side. I'm firing right now.
Oh, yeah.
That's my side.
Yeah, we always call out the crossing at the very least at the museum. The rest of it is a little bit superfluous because you're always on one side or the other.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, gonna fall off the engine. Alright, looking for that switch. And we are lined the wrong way.
Line the wrong way. Air's plugged.
Oh, line straight. Highball.
Line straight. Highball.
Ah. Okay.
Okay, bye.
I'm back. I'm back. Hi, I'm here. line through the yard.
Line through.
I'm just gonna try and get back into the. There we go.
Can I hit your brakeman to do that?
Oh.
There's sometimes a weird desync with switches.
Oh no.
And
We gave the anime waifu a whistle show. I hope the whistle comes across for the host.
it doesn't. It's all, I think it's as garbled for me as it is for you.
Joy. Alright, there's the 60 that I was encountering that's actually a 60. So we'll grab some air here.
Oh, God, my controls. Okay, there we go.
Oh, this is where it might get interesting.
And line through again.
Line through. Oh, they're not on the main. They're at the spawn yard, so I see them. Do you see the tank car over there?
No?
Okay, desync. Love it.
It's fine. You didn't die.
We didn't die. I thought it was on the main, but it was not, so that was good. Yeah,
We're
if that
good.
could be a little smidge higher, that'd be nice.
You got it, boss. What about that sloshing being double?
You know, we're going downhill now. It's fine. I can try and get us off the hill quicker if that helps. Oh, look, now it's full. Would you look
fine.
at that?
Yeah, the first time I played this and the water dropped out of the glass on a slosh and I exploded was an actual pucker moment for me.
I believe it.
Just the
It
like.
was for me too.
Yeah, speaking of your water sloshing on your glass.
There are many noises I don't like.
You got about 3 bars.
Yep.
Oh,
Maybe.
perfect. We'll make it to the goods factory.
Okay.
We'll just have to get water there before we continue to elsewhere.
Alright, we got places to be. This is the fast straight, so I'm abusing your fire. FYI.
I'm
Go
gonna
for
stand
it.
at the back of the train.
By the way, your entire crew is standing in the tender because we were not providing with a caboose that meets our union requirements.
Yeah.
Someone called the ICC on us.
And so you'll be hearing from our shop steward.
You can take that up with HR. I am filing your complaint right now.
I was
Don't
gonna say,
worry.
Scott,
I'm
aren't
putting it
you
in this
the union
special
steward?
drawer.
Does the fire change color when it gets hotter?
File.
It does.
I just noticed that.
It's a very
Man.
cool detail.
It's lonely at the back of the train here. Be nice if I had a caboose.
See, he's British. He's not part of the union.
What? You brought the brake van.
Just get him a boxcar for the door.
Oh,
that
I'm
doesn't
sorry,
close.
I was trying to fit in. Would you like me to be more British? Because I can if you wish.
Oh boy. I think the rest of our crew is revolting.
It's fine. It's conductor's problem.
I'm
least
never
back-
alone. Hello.
At least you're at the back of the train. We're safe when it explodes.
We have half a glass of water. We're fine.
Oh, interesting. In your chat, Sean J Animations has noted that the hosts have to be outside of the cab for clients to be able to blow the whistle well.
Interesting. So if
So
I
if you
hop
stand
up
at
here,
the tender wall, apparently it works.
So if I stand, oh well, would you look at that? Well, thank you for the tip there.
Yeah, cheers, Sean. I'm sure he's told me that before, but you know, remembering things is hard.
That switch is coming up here pretty soon.
Yep, as soon as we get out of this
Yep,
left-hander, we should be able to see it.
There's the Y sign, junction
It's a
sign.
60 through it.
Anyone else see anything, or is that just my screen?
wanna go
being
to
very
the
dark?
There's the switch. It is
To the
lined
goods factory.
for our direction of movement, but it is a 50. Hold on to your butts.
Oh, wait. I think we lost one.
One what?
One of the crew. No, one of the,
Okay.
the wagons.
I thought
Don't
you
worry.
meant a car.
No, I'd be too busy screaming.
Yeah, the crew we can leave behind. I'm not worried about that. The car, I'm worried.
They're replaceable.
Thank you, HR representative.
You're welcome. I'm just doing my job.
There's noises.
Oh. Okay, that was weird. We're good. I really hope I didn't overfire this.
Judging by the pressure gauge, you didn't.
No, it's swinging up for me.
I got you at 9 bar, pointing
Yeah.
straight up right now.
I got me at is that 9.1 bar, is that? 9.2 bar? It's creeping slow.
Okay. Well, I'm using it. I'm horizonlining it over here.
Hey, you know, we're coming into a yard. We're gonna be doing some yard work. It'll come up.
Oh yeah,
It'll come back down.
you'll catch back up. Yeah.
And then it'll drop as we use it, grabbing the next whatever cut we take to go wherever. That's one of the interesting things, is the meeting that balance of like going from doing one thing of like you're doing laps to, and you're doing your trip out and back to like, okay, no, now we got to do some switching with the engine instead, and like having to change how you're firing and change how you're running a bit.
Yep. That is such a huge distinction, and I got not quite absolutely screwed, but I got screwed by it the last time I fired an engine. Last engine I fired was a 040 Vulcan at Kentucky Steam. It was the engine that was out for the whistle blow to supply steam, and they also did a engineer class kind of thing that I actually got to teach some channel members how to run the engine in person, which was hilarious and fun. But I got told by the owner of the engine, like, hey, you've never fired this before, half scoops. Like, half scoops and be gentle with it. Like, it doesn't use much. And it's like, okay. And then, you know, having no bearing on what that engine fired like or whatever, and tonnage and all these things, we're going to run it around light, and that was what the briefing was for. And then the switcher ran out of diesel, and so we had to shove two big diesels, the switcher, another Vulcan 040, and the 2716 with this itty-bitty Vulcan 040, and I had been told half scoops only. Don't you dare use any more coal than that.
Oh.
No, lots of full scoops. Lots.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different, because it was basically working the thing at tonnage, basically. I didn't drop too far, but it was it's definitely a thing.
Yeah, that would do it.
Yeah, that's a bit different than running around light engine.
Yep. I was still surprised how much steam that thing used, light engine, but the boiler was the size of a pencil, so. Makes me not look forward to firing and running a certain stupid doot. I mean, makes me look forward to it, but 10. 10 to 15, anywhere in the, somewhere half of your train length.
Yeah.
That's why I really loved firing Thomas, real Thomas, or as we called it, DEDT-15. Cause like, you would go from running this 060 at 20 miles an hour, bombing down the road, to then like
about
7.
shoving back at 10 to, okay, we gotta switch out the train and put it away at the end of the night, and like, or assemble the train in the morning, and it's just all very different work for that engine.
Right.
And yeah, tiny firebox. I mean,
5.
5. Yeah, that's what I love about firing and running 20 for polar. 3. It's a very challenging thing. 2.
1.
1.
Half.
Half.
Anywhere near good.
Anywhere in there.
Gonna kick these? You can kick them.
Kick him. All right.
Yeah, hang on, let me get the air. Make sure I'm in the right cut here. Yes, I am. Look at that. Can't see anything. It's too dark. Like that.
A little bit more. A bit more of
Okay.
Ready to kick?
Let's get a kick.
Kicking.
just the cutest little quarter slips.
Cutest little quarter slips.
When we were doing this photo charter last week, we
Yes.
had a new fireman recently qualified, and we were talking about like how you fire these types of like how you fire photo charter days and stuff like that. And it was like, you know, normally what we do, and I think a lot of smaller tourist railroads can agree, that runs team can agree with this.
That's good.
Far enough. Is you're running a yard job. You're running 20 miles an hour out backstop, running another like 5 miles out backstop, and you're not a yard job, but like a local, a transfer job. Versus a photo charter where you're running the switcher. You're going for a short amount of time, then you're stopping, and then you're going for a short amount of time, and then you're stopping constantly. So it's like you can't, like how you're treating the pressure differently. Where like you want to gain as you're sitting, and lose as soon as you start moving, so that way you don't end up running your water too high, and having that totally different type of balance.
When I fired at 20 at the Cumbres and Toltec, we got told that we had one run by at Ferguson's trestle, first trestle, and then we were going to move on from there. And we ended up doing 7 run bys. So they had lots to say about my use of the safety valve, but I got told one run by, and then we were going to climb Gravity Hill. So I was ready. Yeah.
Good to shove back.
Good to shove back.
It's not good.
No.
The other thing being, when I got to run, I got given the best car counts I've ever been given of all time, where we were walking up to the next spot to do a run by, and evidently the photographers didn't like it, because the car counts went 10, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1, half, quarter mile. And then we went a quarter mile, and I was so nervous, but that eased me right up. It's very funny. Kicked the air off, pulled out on the throttle. It was fun.
You're still good for 20.
Still good for 20. Stop telling stories and open that thing up a little more. Okay, got it.
It's it's this big thing on our radio that I tell new guys is like when the engineer's doing a shove move or talking on the radio, like shut up and don't talk. You can whisper to me, but let the engineer focus on the move.
For real.
Until they're also rambling, and I'm guilty of this too, of like rambling as I get a call of like you could shove back into the siding, and I'm like having a conversation like, yeah, so anyway, we were running this trip. All right, clear back into the station on a reverse switch, crossing protected, and I let go of the radio and then continue my conversation. But also like trying to do that and open the throttle and whistle, and it's like I can't multitask.
Get really
that
good at
much.
multitasking, yeah, or you
10
don't.
10.
I can only do 7 things at once, not 10. Oh, bad Casey.
Are we counting the quarter slips and transgressions against Casey, or
No, are we counting my 1 PSI safety lift?
No.
I don't know, HR representative, what are we doing?
Hi, yes. You call?
5 cars.
5.
Our driver is being naughty.
Oh, see, that's the road foreman of engineers. It's gonna.
I'll go get the paddle.
3 cars.
3. 3 and a paddling.
2.
2.
Your yard space is rapidly running out.
1.
1.
Over here, we call that shove till it fits.
Half a car.
Half.
I'm gonna go stand over here and get ready to turn in the jobs.
Anywhere in there.
Okay. Would you like to know how much space you had?
Why not? Sure.
4 buffers.
4 buffers. Apparently British will use anything other than the metric system.
Meh.
Casey, do these 2 jobs have to be separated from the register?
Nope, they just registered.
Just make sure you tie down a brake on them.
Yep. Yeah,
Casey, can you mind the store for 30 seconds?
I can. I'm literally in the store trying to figure out what we're gonna do.
Do that. I'll be right back.
I need to try and find my tools again.
What are you gonna do? Is probably get water. You're down to the black line.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Let's You wanna cut me away and I'll go do that?
You are
Already
cut away
done.
already.
Alright, here we go.
Another receipt. Okay.
Alright, so we'll get some water and I think we're heading back to the harbor. I think that's probably our best bet.
That's a very empty tank of water.
That's a very,
Train's leaving without
very.
me. That was close.
Since I'm running, I'm gonna eat up some of my own pressure. Are we lined for the water tower?
I should probably go find that out, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
Let me go check. Let's go check. Where is it?
Is there?
I ain't no expert,
Oh,
but
found
I'm
it.
pretty
there
sure there
is,
should
yeah.
be water in this.
Okay, guys, I get it. We're supposed to have water.
Am I supposed to be doing something?
We were going to get water while you were stepped away.
You are aligned for the water tower.
Alright.
So our tender is empty.
That's fine. We got some in the boiler.
Right, that's enough. Oh look, there's the store. If you want to buy lanterns.
I have 1.
Okay.
Oh god, the damper control is reversed in multiplayer?
Oh no, I closed them.
No, the actual controls when I was dragging it were reversed for a brief second there, and I don't know why.
Oh, that's weird.
Strange. I assume our brakies gonna get the spout for me like a sweetheart.
Host needs to do it. There's a weird desync with that.
Ah,
We want to, we just can't.
Yep.
Well, all right. Well, then I will sit in the seat and boil water.
Blame the union.
Stop.
Stop. Back a bit.
Back. How much is a bit?
Yes.
One.
Can we get that in SD cards, please? How many buffers?
2 quarters.
One and a half. Literally a half.
Wait,
A
no.
half what?
How many slices of beans with toast on them?
Like
We need to know.
Not too far.
Take it ahead,
About a truck.
one slice of toast with beans on it.
Yes.
But it's not a full beans toast, so careful.
Is that good?
No, keep going forward. You got about, I don't know.
The spout rotates, guys!
Are we close enough? Oh wait, no, but that you guys can't see the spout rotating. Only I can when I move it.
No, that's why.
You get
You know, I could actually
Oh,
see the
hang on.
spout rotate.
You can? Okay, I heard it make the beep noise.
You know, if we had a caboose, we could just be sitting back there ignoring all of this.
Spawn the
could.
complainer's caboose.
I filed your complaint earlier. Stop complaining about it. It's been filed.
Well, what happens when it's filed?
Did you not hear what happened to it when it gets filed?
No.
Here, hold on. I'll send you
There
a
you go.
video, buddy.
Yes.
Yay, we have our own
Alright.
caboose.
Yay! Dibs on the tea.
Guys, suddenly this job isn't so bad after all.
Alright,
Where's the kettle?
Turtle right
There's
now.
no kettle.
alright, for the conductor, we're getting cars from D20 and D30.
How can there be no kettle?
Okay.
We're back 1.5 cars.
1.5. Sure fire now, Mark. Here's our handoff.
Yep.
Half.
I guess I have the headlight switch on this arcane
I
stupid.
just looked out the door of the caboose and
thing.
suddenly there was just the light of God.
Yes, it was
Yeah, that's
toast
safe.
without beans on it. How did that feel?
I don't like it. There's no
Are we,
kettle in here. I'm very disappointed.
Died in.
Up.
Good to go.
Yep. Found the air dump. Alright. When you are ready, Mr. Brickman.
Let's go.
Who was T5? Was that you?
Well, I was just calling it back to the caboose.
Clearly,
There-
I feel like
there's a handbrake set on that caboose.
I can feel that in my bones.
Oh, that's where our complaint went. Damn.
Oh, it's a delight.
Well, it must have worked because we have one now.
Casey, do your firemen complain about you wasting their steam when you have the cylinder cocks open unnecessarily?
No.
Nope, I never
Actually,
complained.
I guess
Hey,
you guys
Joe, can
bank
I-
your engines overnight.
we bank
So?
our engines overnight, and in the morning, I leave the cylinder cocks open until we're ready for the first trip. So, like,
Oh yeah, I
coming
mean
out
you
of the
gotta
house and
work it under load. Yeah,
like
for sure.
coming out of the house, running around the yard, like I never close them.
Yeah, you gotta actually clear them out, you know, proper. We always go blow the engine's nose up the hill part way and then back down, but yeah, when we're putting the engine away for the night, because we don't bank our engines for a number of reasons, some people will complain if anyone opens the cylinder cocks because they're not cool enough to run a steam dome throttle superheated locomotive with the cylinder cocks closed and be precise. So it's been a sticking point before.
Yes, you said D2.
Yes. First cut is 2, second cut is 3.
Okay.
I
You are-
don't know. The cylinder cocks, I think, are a tool, especially on a dome throttle superheated engine, for getting those precise moves and stopping precisely. Of like, all right, no, I had the steam chest charged, and my conductor just told me like 2 feet. I'm going to charge it, start taking a set, and then kick my cylinder cocks open instantly to get that 2 foot move.
See, I just I like to toot my own horn a little bit. I have footage somewhere of Caboose riding with me in the cab, and we were doing switching with 491, and I was able to just bump the throttle around just perfectly happy, and it was like, okay, we need you 6 inches, and just the right couple pops, and she just glided right in there, and, you know, cylinder cock shut, didn't care. So,
Our engines, the throttles have too much slop to do that.
I'm curious. I'd love to know what your engines feel like, because we've gotten ours relatively tight, but there's still slop, of course, in them. But it's an interesting thing.
I have a story for you that's not appropriate for stream.
Sorry, stream.
No, one
Cover
engine.
your ears, kiddies.
One engine is tired and has had a lot of work done, and the throttle's kind of the last big ticket item. And the other one's getting close to its 15 year, and you know, as an engine gets close to the end, like
They get pissed.
They start telling you.
Oh yes.
They start going like, "Hey, I'm getting a little tired here. Take it easy on me."
Yep. 1000%.
40 is great with the saturated, cause like I can pop the throttle and move it an inch. It is so nice.
That is nice. Well, you guys' throttles can't be as bad as the JNL 58. That was the singular worst locomotive-based control experience I've ever experienced.
It was a great video. 3 cars.
It was 3. It's literally just like, you got the throttle, like, you moved it a little bit, and it was all the slop, and then you got it past the slop, and then it was like a sumo wrestler punching you in the face.
2. I take it that was less than 2?
2 feet.
So much.
2 SD cards.
Buffers.
Yeah, this is honestly very accurate for firing while switching because I'm still creeping up towards the pops. Water's a little high of half glass for sitting, and the fire is about dead, and the damper's shut. And we're still creeping towards the pops, and
Doesn't
it's
it
just...
feel, like, a little bit painfully accurate?
It does, because, God, when you fire 491 around the museum for switching, you have to keep a dog shit fire in that engine, because she has siphons and everything. I mean, and her MAWP has been reduced to 185. So it's just like, you can't have a fire in it and sit still. If you're sitting still, the fire's got to look about as ragged as it does in the box right now, which is painfully accurate.
On an engine, I saw someone one time after switching. They had only a horseshoe and the center was out, like just completely gray, and it was making pressure. And it's like, huh, that's okay.
Yeah.
What? Why?
Sometimes they do that. It was I wish I had it on video. I don't think I do. But in an upcoming video talking about modern superpower steam with Jason Subchinski on the 2716, he was like, "Mark, we're going to go in the firebox and we're going to see what siphons look like." And I was like, "I know, Jason, my engine has them." And he goes, what? Narrow gauge siphons? And I'm like, "Yeah. It's the one that survives."
We have an angle cock open somewhere.
Look at that spazzy brake needle. On a client side, it is just all over the place.
Ooh. Is this a host needs to look at stuff to fix it type of thing again?
Fix it.
I wonder, because I've just got...
So on my end, every car is disconnected from every other car in the cut.
It is not that on my end. Oh, wait. Are you working back from the engine?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, it is like that on my end.
Okay.
Was
Well, that's why we have air bleeding all over the place.
The air pump is starting to get mad.
Or the conductor getting mad too.
We had a day at the museum when one of the hoses for 346's air pump gave way, connecting the engine and tender. Thankfully, there's a check valve between that and the main res, because the main res is on the tender. But I have never heard a pair of 9.5-inch single-stage air compressors cycle faster than that, because there's no load.
No.
I heard a gunshot of the hose exploding, and I was like, "What the fuck was that?" And I looked down and on my side and see that there was no hose, and I went, "Shut the pumps off!" And then I look out and I just hear of the pump cycling at Mach Jesus. It's like, okay.
Shuttle valve slamming into the head on either end.
Pretty much. I'm honestly surprised we didn't KO the compressors then.
Oh, hey, there we go. We got air's coming back.
The needle is still spazzy, but less spazzy and going spazzy towards the right direction, so.
Okay. I think everything is linked back up.
All right.
Handbrake off. I got a relog somewhere in there because I experienced a problem that you guys may or may not have experienced in real life, which is crashing your desktop. I don't know if that's something that happens in real life Steam operations or not, you know?
No,
And,
haven't crashed a
yep, there we
desktop
go.
while on a locomotive. I did have heat stroke once, and that's probably pretty similar, but
Oh no, got the hat. Got that merit badge.
everyone's favorite.
I about fell down face first going over a bridge up our steepest grade on a nice mid-July day.
Yep, mid-July over here too. I just remember standing behind our engineer out in the gangway on the 491 and just being like, wow, am I gonna faint? What's going on here? Why is everything all silly? And I hadn't been sweating for approximately 2 hours at that point, so it's not great.
Brakes on somewhere, but I'm trying to figure out why.
I think I hear a handbrake.
What level of desync is going on, or are we actually going this fast?
We're going incredibly slow. We're doing less than 20 kilometers an hour.
We're doing 65 on my end.
On my
Okay.
end, half the train has merged with itself and is... Oh god, it's terrifying.
This is the worst desync I've ever seen in this game.
Oh,
Okay,
Yeah,
guys.
we're through the station platform doing 65 right now, and I'm the only one in the cab.
Okay, it is relog time.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Oh, that brings back memories.
I will bring the train to a stop. Well,
If anyone
there's
would like
a
to look
relog.
at what I put in VC, this accurately describes what I was witnessing.
Yeah, there's the picture for proof. We're in the tunnel now. Oh my god. Okay, exit to main menu. Yep, sounds
There we
good.
go.
Well, hopefully a relog for everyone should fix this. And I don't need to restart the server.
We'll see.
What's funny is Kenosha is playing right now and climaxing.
It knows. I was very, very surprised and happy that when I played that song live at EBT, I did not spawn a train derailment.
The funny correct outcome for that would have been like some speeder that was doing like a little speeder ride around the yard, like pops off on like picks a switch, like that's the funny way of that happening in real life.
Or like a trolley pole popped off.
Exactly.
Just some mild
Trolley stops
inconvenience,
on the other end.
You know? Alright, I'm back in, and the train is stopped where I left it, and all the brakes appear to be connected, so...
I floated back in, and I'm, to my credit, in the tunnel where the train was going 60 when I left. So, at least it remembers where I was. Let's see where the train actually was. Oh, not even past the yard throat. Cool.
I think you will have to rebuy all your stuff.
Yes, I will, but thankfully we're at the place, and I know where the shop is this time.
Alright, can I continue my move there, Mr. Conductor Rudy, sir?
Yes, you can. We're going over to 3 next, right?
Yes, three.
Okay, you got about 4 cars to throw the switch.
4.
Good news, I can see that now.
Made the mistake of not buying 3 lanterns last time. That's a mistake you make once.
3 more, Casey.
3 more?
Yeah.
3 more.
2.
2.
1 car.
1.
1 half of 1 car.
1 half of 1 car.
1 truck of 1 half of 1 car.
1 truck of 1 half of 1 car.
And you good.
Far enough of
well-
1 half of 1 truck of 1 car.
Yes. Shove for 10 cars.
Back 10. As I scroll infinitely.
Or 20 halves of 1 car.
Back 20 halves of 1 car.
Okay, so I don't know if clients can actually have more than one lantern. So I can't
can.
light... Oh, no, okay, I just can't light this one for some reason, so I'm gonna bung it over the side. Alright. If Goods Factory burns down, just let him know Mrs. O'Leary's cow is heist.
Can do. We were doing a job briefing, and one railroad I worked for did a rule of the day every job briefing, and it was car counts when shoving, and it was a rowdy morning where everyone was in a good mood, and it turned into a it turned into a discussion of rule of diminishing halves. When you give someone you're clear to mile 8 or wherever, and it's like, well, huh? How long does the half go for? Yes.
2, 1, half, quarter, 8th, 16th, 32nd, 64th.
3 cars.
3.
3.
I'm not used to getting actual acknowledgements. When I learned from a CNJ guy, 2 cars, by the way.
2.
The acknowledgement was 2 clicks on the radio.
Yeah, she can do that.
Long one. Actual one. There you go.
Half.
Truck.
I will, truck.
1 feet, 5, and good.
I will, always use the whistle when switching when I can, instead of the radio. So it just ends up being too much of a hassle, and I know there's definitely some trainmen in chat, who work with me, and I will always give people a hard time if they're, if I have a line of sight and they're trying to spot me at the foul mark, like shove hard against it. And it's like, no, hey, I will stick my hand out the window and wave it up and down in like a go ahead mode. Like, no, hand signals. Hand signals. Do not use a radio when I can visually see you.
We got him as soon as he got air, so.
Oh, I should probably put it in charging.
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to go give you a continuity test just to make sure?
Yeah, I'll do a quick one.
Okay. Is it doing things?
It is not doing things.
Good thing we tested.
That one's good. That one's good. And that one's good. That one's also good. Mhm.
Oh, hey, there it is.
It was at the box cars.
You found it? Okay.
Yep.
That's
Go back to the back tail end and make sure you got the tail end now. Alright.
alright.
How about now?
Oh, yep, nope. There goes my air.
Okay. Good. We got everything we're going to pull.
Alright, here we go to the harbor. And nice.
Clear
and gentle
left.
bounce. Clear left. That's another thing. It's always, whenever you get the high ball, it's fireman always shouts clear. At least
Yep.
for us.
Yep, same here. Was the first operations lesson I learned was when previous management being previous management didn't teach me anything, and then had me climb up into the fireman's side for a move and asked me to make sure it was clear. And I was a young dumb child at the point. I guess I was 19 or whatever, but there were a crap ton of people around watching the engine, whatever we had it aired up to move it out of the stall. And it was clear forward. We got all the people out of the way. But some dum-dum had leaned the cab doors up against the tender on 346. And I didn't look back. I hadn't been taught crap about what it meant to be on a moving locomotive before. And so into the pit the doors went, and yeah, I made a loud banging sound, and glass broke, and all the fun.
We have a sign that says hose and tender, and we have hoses that quick connect to the tender. That goes on the reverser for same reason.
Very smart.
Sometimes it doesn't matter.
Works 99% of the time. It's that 1% of the time that is why we have those signs.
It works
But yeah, that's
100% of the time, 50%.
That's when I'm teaching new firemen, and we're getting ready to roll out of the house to spot on the ass track. And it's like, climb down on the fireman's side, look back along the tender, walk around the front of the engine, walk back down around the engineer's side. And just check. Do an idiot check. If it takes us an extra 30 seconds to get outside, it takes us an extra 30 seconds to get outside.
Do the idiot check. You never know what, in a shop what might be in the way, what might have gotten set somewhere stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You never know what might break. I had my second kicking of a steam engine into the roundhouse accidentally that I've ever experienced a couple weeks ago. It's quite funny. It was the same day we were filming K37 Kitchen that's coming out on Saturday, where we were using a another group's little Plymouth switcher that we have to test out and help them break in before it goes to them. And I don't need to implicate anybody, so that's all I'll say on that. But the coupler failed. They had extended the couplers or shortened them or something and changed the shank arrangement, and the welds failed and the coupler fell out of the pocket. The shank was still in the pocket, but the coupler head itself fell off and was dangling by the lifter pin. Ooh. And we kicked 20 into the shop. Thankfully doing about a mile an hour, and we were able to get it stopped. But it was like, what the fuck? Yes, and Ezekiel was there for that. Hi, Ezekiel. Yes. Yeah, that was the day that Ezekiel was visiting me, and he got to watch that happen, and it's like, wow. If I had a nickel for every time, wouldn't be a lot of money, but Jesus Christ, why the hell do I have 2 nickels? Anyway.
We have any engine that goes on the north side of our engine house has to get skated. So that way, because too often early on, we may have kicked a couple of engines through the door and into the tracks that are buried in the parking lot.
Last year, this year, did that happen?
I wasn't going to bring that up, but you know, details.
Anyway,
It's fine.
Didn't hear any of that.
Wasn't me.
It's fine.
I wasn't here. I stay away from those events.
It's okay, I have an interesting story for after stream. Sorry.
It's the great thing about doing this is getting to share what I've learned with everyone. The terrible thing about doing this is not being able to share everything I've learned with everyone.
Yeah, that tracks.
Well, I'll say this much. If you're going to be moving an engine under air power, do verify that the brake stand is not cut out.
Oops. Line left.
Line left.
50.
50. Probably want another little bit sit there.
And the second thing I'll say about that is it's always good to open the coupler, pull the pin on the coupler before you start.
Yes.
Let me adjust the right feed on my hydrostatic lubricator over here.
There we go. Be a good noodle and look back along my train. Hey, there's 2 cars there.
Don't worry, your crew's got a nice spot in the caboose to watch all that now.
highway valleying it tonight?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, 70. Doing bang on 70. This is I don't know, running and firing's different. People have asked me, like, which one do you enjoy more? And I'm going to ask you this one first, I guess, Marcus. Which one do you like more, running or firing? 'Cause every engineer
probably-
I know has the same answer.
I probably enjoy running more because it is less nerve-wracking to me, personally. What?
Firing's my like, I love firing more than running.
Firing's cool, but with the way the stupid museum is, man, I mean, the way the railroad's set up, the way that it works out, it's always nerve-wracking where one scoop can make the difference, and you're always second-guessing yourself. And it's, at least I do, and it's an intrinsically challenging place to fire. If we had an oil burner, or if we had a different railroad, I think my answer would be different, but for me, I prefer running.
Alright, I can see that. So a lot of the guys I know, they vastly prefer running or firing to running. Since it's, you know, you're a little more active and less mental active. And that's one of the things I'm finding, even when sometimes playing video games and trying not to blow up in Derail Valley, as I usually do. Like, just thinking, like, way ahead of, like, alright, what's coming up on the road? What do I need to do next? And just trying to keep up with that mental game of it all.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
so-
firing at our museum, unfortunately, is, I mean, it is really a game of walking on eggshells, really, so it's tough. There was a time when I fired 491 all the time, when I was one of the few qualified firemen on her, probably like 9 or 10 years ago now, when it was super comfortable and I didn't have to look at anything and it was just perfect, and, you know, she'd be right where I needed her, but, you know, that's it's been a long time since that sort of thing, and so anytime I go up to fire, I don't get to fire all that often these days because I'm usually teaching it, and it's always a little like, okay, was that enough? The fire, like, it looks 90% there, but you kind of have to have it look 90% there. Is that okay?
Lined all
So
the way
it's always a bit of a guessing game, so lined all
Yeah.
the way through.
Yeah, no, I can get that. For me, it's, you know, we have 3 engines, and I've run 2 of them so much that I'm like... Yeah, that's fine. Okay, that switch just looked weird for a second, as they do. But, like, once you get it set up, it's very, you know, get it going and forget it. Running the third, which I don't get to do all that often, it's unique, and she's very much the baby, and you gotta like treat her like a baby and kind of fight with her a little bit to get her to do what you want her to do. It's a much different running experience where you're not just staring out the window the whole time looking at the tracks ahead. You gotta constantly make small adjustments.
That's every second of our museum, because every second you're going from a 1.5 to a 3.5% grade to a 4% grade to a 14-degree curve into a 28-degree curve into a 14-degree curve into a...
That's challenging.
Yeah, it's really funny. Anytime we have engineers from other railroads come out, we tell them, hey, you need to be into the air right now, and they'll be, oh, it'll be fine, I can make the adjustment whenever I want, because the transition's whatever, and it's like, no, by the time that we're getting on this hill here, like, you have to be in the air, because the hill's only so long. If you want to maintain speed at slow speed, you know, sub 10 mile an hour, 8 mile an hour, you have to be right there with it, snappy changes, whereas on a big railroad, you can make your set 500 feet later, and it doesn't make a single bit of difference.
Yeah, you have the time to let it propagate on most other tourist lines and let it cook instead of having to be right there almost the exact same time every way, I guess.
Yep. Yeah. Because if you wait too long, you'll get going too quick, and then you've got a 28-degree curve at the bottom, and you don't want to fly through there and fly into the crossing real quick, and you either have to just overdo it and get way too hard into the air, and then have to release reset. I mean, yeah, it's a whole thing. Pain in the butt. When we went down to the Cumbres and Toltec, and I was running, our conductor came up, who's one of the employees of the railroad, and he came up with the engine and basically said, "Hey, can we trade our engineers for yours?" It's like, yes, it's a circle of track.
Compliment.
It was the best compliment I've ever gotten, just about. It is a circle of track, but it is the hardest goddamn little stupid circle of track that you could ever learn to run on. It really is.
I'd feel a little more comfortable if you had just a tad bit more water than that.
Well, we leveled over, and then, the water disappeared. It's on the way up.
There is an upside down DE2.
Okay. Just ignore it and carry on.
There was an upside down DE2 somewhere?
Yeah. Back at the junction.
Yeah.
You don't see that. No.
Alright, well, I'm gonna
No.
rip that stick out for speed.
I was gonna say, this is the other speedy section here, so you just plug the fire full of coal.
It's nice getting to. It's nice, especially when you work with guys who've been qualified for a while, of only ever so often just having to glance over at what they're doing. Of all right, yeah, no, we still have water. I did my due diligence.
Right. Yeah, you're not paranoid bumping the bottom gauge cock every time you go downhill. Yeah.
Yep.
Me as an engineer with any of our trainee firemen, every time. It's just like, okay, we're gonna reach around and bump that. Okay, sounds like water. That's great. I would say look at the glass, but on the deckless engine, a little hard.
Yeah, I can imagine. I have the luxury of full-size cabs for everything. Well, not 97. That cab is weird.
Cozy.
That's a word for it. I was running it the other day with my knee underneath the reverser quadrant. Because that's where I need to sit, because I'm short to reach everything. And standing up to run tender first. That's a 7. Let's get you set up for drifting. And that's another thing our engineers get trained to do is easing off, shutting off as we're making the transition to setting up the engine for drifting.
Yeah, not a bad thing.
It's not, everyone shuts off in different spots and it's dependent on speed and whatever, but it's just like a, hey, heads up. It's like a, hey, turn on your blower type of a call.
Sure, yeah. Depends on how easily your engines draft, I suppose.
Yeah, how easily, how much coal you put in, how easily they draft.
Not making smoke.
Keeping smoke out of people's backyards with their fresh
thankfully
laundry.
Our engines usually draft pretty well while they're under move. Just the air over the stack is enough to keep them drafting. So you'll basically you basically not have to touch the blower really unless you're behind when you go to drift anyway. Sometimes if you get a trainee who's got 491 really plugged full, then sometimes not the case, but yeah.
And we've talked about the trough runoff valves on your streams before, but kind of the big downside of those is because your valve ends up centered and not moving, you have next to no draft over the stack. to help you with anything. So you need to run the blower on the SYs in order to
That
just
makes sense.
keep any smoke from happening. And 40 has, I think, the only operable part from 3985, and that's the grates from when they de-coal-burnered it. So we have Stoker-fired engine grates in a hand-bombed engine.
That's
and
funny.
They're just, they have just barely too little of a gap between all the fingers, so they don't draft that well. So if you need to run like, I don't know, 5-10 pounds of blower in order to keep it breathing when you shut off.
You guys have gauges on your blower?
We do.
Yep.
Must be nice.
It's amazing.
It really is. It's great for teaching, and then once you learn it, you don't look at it.
We have pressure gauge for boiler, pressure gauges for air, and nothing else.
Do you have steam heat? Is 491
Not
steam
equipped on the engines.
Okay.
91 could be set up for it. The pipe's still on the tender from when it did actually run historically with steam heat. But we don't have any of the plumbing in the cab for the train line.
Gotcha.
But as far as I'm aware, looking at historic pictures, they didn't have gauges for it.
Interesting. When we're running steam heat, we need to set it up to no more than 40 psi. We'll keep the 9-car train gated. Comfortably
Some
on the
engineers
tail end.
want you to put 90 in.
That's a lot of steam just pissing out of the back from the
It's a lot of steam
turret
blowing out,
line.
blowing into the cars.
That too.
Yeah, 91, 93, and 99 were the 3 of the Ks that ended up getting steam heat. I felt like a special superhero when somebody had posted a cab pic of one of the 37s and somebody was wondering which engine it was, and I knew exactly which engine it was based on the piping. Fireman side picture inside the cab. I'm like, oh, that's 99. They're like, how'd you know that? Because I'm stupid, but you know.
Yeah, I've got to come out and see your engines, because just knowing they're, especially 91, knowing that it's basically the same size as what I work on, with like, none of the amenities.
Yep. Yeah, it would be fun for you to come experience it. You're gonna have to come out sooner or later. 346 is not gonna be done for probably a while. I think we got quoted 16 months to 2 years when we got her to Durango.
Oof.
So 16 months will be in June of next year. So, 2 years would, or maybe even July, 2 years would make it 2026 in the early spring. But once 346 is back, 91's, we're going to do a triple steam up all 3 engines basically, and then 91's going to go night-night and get new tubes and flues and a whole slew of things. So.
Ooh, yeah, I gotta make the trip sooner rather than later.
Yep. Yeah, otherwise you're going to be in a couple of year overhaul cycle if you want to see the big one. So.
Isn't that the case for everywhere? Has multiple engines?
Pretty much. Yeah.
It's the curse of the industry of like, I'm going out to visit so-and-so. It's like, and that engine just went down because their new one's back. Cool.
Yep. Yeah, it's, I've been to Strasbourg a number of times, and I've never seen 90 under steam. And I was there most recently a month ago, and it was no drivers underneath it, no anything on the boiler barrel, just totally blitzed apart. Yeah.
That is
okay,
the only
maybe
engine
one of
I've
these
ever
days.
seen my entire childhood growing up, like within
Every
30
time
hours
it
of
was 90. That's
every
funny.
time it was 90. One time it was 475, but I was too young to really remember it, and it was after they did the Thomas and the Magic Railroad shooting, because there's a picture of me as a child and it's painted Indian Valley, and that's the only reason I know that I've seen it.
That's funny. I finally saw and included footage of in if Kyle's still in the chat. He was in the chat earlier in the Paradise Car and Locomotive Works video. I recorded 475 for finally, and I'd only ever seen 89 hot. the 3 other times I'd been to Strasbourg, so. Yeah.
It's
It's
you
funny.
know, the fun curse of the industry is, especially in places where it have multiple engines, it's just like you either end up seeing the same thing every single time or it's different every time and there's no in between.
Right. Yeah, so 91 will go down, but then she'll be back later. I'm excited for her to get a rebuild. It'll feel good. So
That's
and the new tender cistern's here, which is exciting. But I was cleaning my office today in a fit of ADHD anger, finally like kicking the same thing on the floor for the 50th time, being like, "It's time." Cleaned the office out and came across the sketch that we had of the tender when we measured the cistern behind 494, and it was like, okay, this is now steel and it exists. I don't think I need this anymore. It can go to the archives.
Mr. Conductor, so I'm realizing we're at the harbor. Rear 3 cars go to D4, everything else goes to E9.
Roger.
Drop those rear 3 cars now if you're a cool kid. Run the handbrakes.
Alright, T5, you still on board? You want to do that?
Yep, in the process of dropping them now.
You said
Yep.
The D what? Any what?
D4 for the rear 3, E9 for the rest.
E9. Okay, that's good.
And those guys are cut away. I'm going to use up some of your pressure here.
Go for it. I got water about a mile high, so.
Alright, and we are lined into E9.
Alright. Get a little nibble of air there. I don't think the switches are rated for 40 kilometers an hour into the yard.
Fine.
Ah, crap, I missed the switch for D3.
You're D3, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
D3.
Oh, you're good. You're still rolling.
You said D4.
D4, I'm sorry. D4.
I did say D4.
Numbers.
Whatever. It's still on a D yard, but you're still on track for.
Okay.
Dropping cars in this game is so much easier with a full crew of people.
Really is. You're not trying to manage like 4 different things at the same time.
Had no panic of like spamming the F key to get back to the engine to run ahead.
You are lined into D4.
Thank you, boss.
And you guys are clear of the end of V9.
Alright,
Handbrake.
we're here.
There you go. Handbrake for that. Get your way.
And I'll go turn in the job.
And you're cut away.
Alright,
My fire's basically out, and I'm sitting with a full glass of water over here being like, And I put a scoop of coal in, and now the heat is just
Where did it all go?
on the rise. It's fine.
yep. That do be how it is. And
We're still
I'm
rolling
look-
the D yard, Casey.
still
So
rolling the D-yard. I'm looking at my watch, knowing what time it is. And we fired. It's it is fun to do this with someone who's, works with Steam, because it's a lot different of an experience. Not having to like check on what they're doing, and other than the 2 low water incidences we had.
That's fine, but that's excessive slosh.
Yeah. I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking we need to do at least one Derail Valley thing before the end of the night.
it's tied
I
down to
mean,
D.
it is Derail Valley.
Casey, you could submit both jobs.
All right.
So now I just open the blowdown and walk away. Oh Christ, that drops the water level fast. Never mind.
Well, let's see where these cars are. If we go over to C1...
Are there friends?
Oh, those are... Oh, no, they're empty friends.
Oh, we like loaded friends.
Oxygen.
They're supposed to be in a scattering kaboom.
Who has that? Someone has that.
Oxygen. There, we have no friends here.
Derail Valley.
I am disappointed.
How dare you, Derail Valley?
Well, what do you say we take the steam engine and go blow something up?
I like the sound of that. Coal hole. Coal hole, 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 hole full coal.
And we're just gonna do that.
Would you like to make it to somewhere that blows up?
Oh, should we get
Or
to the oil? Should we get to the oil though? Is that too far?
We're going the wrong way to go to the oil well.
Well, we have cars behind us.
Oh, true.
All you have is caboose.
There we go, shoving platform.
Here we go.
So now when I test my spawning privileges.
There we go. Finish this one.
Set.
Set.
It did go bam on my end.
I did not feel anything on our end. See, now, I don't get to run recklessly in real life. And
That is the
game-
entire point of video game.
That is why I play this game, is to do the reckless thing.
You get to like think you're doing the thing, but disassociate and then just blow shit up, and it is delightful.
It's good.
So while this isn't what you do when working on a crew with steam engines, this is what you do when working on a crew with steam engines in a video game.
Yes. Still bobbing in the bottom of the Cyclops. It's fine.
Should probably take a little bit of air here.
Quitter talk.
I'd like to make it a little bit somewhere before we die.
Do you want me to put water in this thing, or not?
No, let's. We're gonna blow this guy up on the hill, I think.
Probably. We're gonna get up on the hill. We're gonna go. There's the right-hander through the yard, and then it goes the first left-hander, where the I think it's a 50 speed sign is, and then it goes straight for a bit. Then it's gonna go left-hand again, and we're gonna blow up somewhere on that second left-hand turn. That's my money.
Right before the Y.
Yeah, but about halfway to the Y.
I think we make it to the Y.
Okay. What, are you afraid to get wet?
No,
What-
not
what was-
really.
Make sure this thing's nice and loaded.
So this is a legal requirement of playing Derail Valley?
Tis.
It is.
Explosions.
Well, everyone,
Not this left-hander.
No, the next left-hander.
The next left-hander.
Factor of playing a train game with explosions is that you cause an explosion at least once.
That was
Yes.
my favorite thing about the multiplayer episode with Khan, was just hearing him blow up in the distance.
I had that split screen, which was the
Delightful.
best way of viewing it.
I hope he wants to do another. He's been leaving me on red recently, so single tier.
Hang on, let me get my violin.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. This was a lot of fun. Getting to do.
Hey!
That
Mazel
was
tov!
perfect.
I called it! It never gets old.
This
the train hath
Absolutely
become
wonderful.
Cthulhu.
Thank you everyone for tuning in tonight for working as a crew hyphen steam locomotive. That just settled. Hyphen steam locomotives 201 with Professor Heiss. This was a ball getting to run a steam engine in a video game as a crew and getting to do the thing.
It very much was. I appreciate you having me on. As a fan of my channel, Rex Anger always says, meat space railroading is always the dream, right? And I recently got to do that with another good friend of mine for the first time, as I talked about with that Vulcan. So maybe perhaps someday we could do meat space railroading, but for now,
Either
digital
Colorado
space railroading
or
is
Connecticut,
great.
We'll make it work.
Yes. So thank you so much. It's been a blast.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in,
Lit-
everyone.
Literally, the
Good night,
locomotives
everyone.
exploded.
It did blast. Bye.
Bye.
Cthulhu boiler!